Hi everybody, this is Ingi from Tarot Ingi, and today I'm going to talk about Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles is a card for routine, for the long term, for long-term investments. It can also speak of taking stock and taking care of your possessions. Look at what you already have, build on what you already have rather than start over something new. This card also means that you turn into what you're doing, so the environment you're in really affects you. So if you don't like who you're turning into, you have to change the environment, because where you're at and where you're spending most of your time, it's what really is influencing who you become as a person. So it can mean that as well, depending a little bit where in the layout it's showing up. If it is a block position, for example, it can mean that you need a bit of change of environment. It can mean that you're not getting rewarded for your efforts, basically. But Seven of Pentacles in a general reading, it speaks of a payoff in the future if you stick to the current plan. So you're planting a seed and you will harvest it in the future. And look at the long-term rewards. So it's a bit of a waiting to reap reward in this card. So be patient, take a step back and look at the value of all the work that you have done. So look at the long-term benefit in this card, and also what you value, your value system, because there's a lot more in your life that you could value. Sometimes this card shows up in the seekers a little bit dissatisfied and they want quicker return of their investments, basically. So you look at the other cards as well, but usually with this card it's patience is the game. You can of course learn to work smarter rather than harder, but for the most part Seven of Pentacles is when the seeker is learning some lessons on the material plane that will come with a little bit of sacrifices, and they're gonna learn what is in their highest and best long term. In a love reading, this card can speak of being a bit stuck in a relationship that maybe is not rewarding for them anymore, and maybe they've been in it for a long time doing the same old, and they kind of feel there's a lack of passion. And maybe they want more excitement, so maybe this couple need to look outside their routine, how they can make life more exciting again. If the seeker is single, Seven of Pentacles can mean that the seeker is very unhappy as a single, but they're doing little to change their situation, because sometimes with Seven of Pentacles there's a lot of cynicism at the heart of a situation that makes it hard for the seeker to make the necessary changes. In a career reading, Seven of Pentacles speaks of working outside. It can also mean that the seeker is working hard for very little, that they're a student, that maybe they're just doing a job because they need the money but it's not giving them a lot of rewards. Maybe they work hard for low pay. It can also mean that someone else is getting the rewards for their efforts as well. In a yes-no question, this card is a more likely no, simply because of the pause element in this card. Seven of Pentacles as feelings speaks of feeling a bit boxed in, needing change, needing to see new opportunities, needing a different approach, wanting a change but not sure what change they want. It could also be that they feel there's a lack of support from others. They could feel very let down by their peers. They're unsure how things are between them and other people, feeling a bit defensive, feeling hard to trust, but also feeling need to have time out, to spend time alone, working on your own ideas, not sharing too much with others, maybe feeling other people don't understand, wanting to be around animals and plants and nature rather than people. If you're asking how someone is feeling about you, it could feel like they're feeling a bit misunderstood. And unsure about how you're feeling about them, and maybe they're just feeling that maybe there's a difficult communicating. It could be misunderstandings as well, seen in this card. Personality-wise, Seven of Pentacles speaks of someone who works hard and doesn't really enjoy life. It's just working, basically. But it also is maybe working at things that aren't giving them a lot of joy, so they end up abandoning often their dreams. So they feel like they put all the efforts in, but it will never be enough. So they need a plan, basically. And they need to change a little bit what they believe is possible. They sometimes believe that their dreams can't come true. So then they prefer to be close to the land than to people, and they like to spend as much time outdoors as possible. But they also need to reevaluate as well. Life has more to offer to them than what they realize. So they need to live in the moment, even though everything they're doing is for the future. So sometimes they live in the future, actually. They need to also live a little bit more in the present. So they end up often very uncomfortably comfortable in the job. Like, they're so comfortable, but they're uncomfortable being so comfortable. So they end up wanting something very different from what they're having. If this card is reversed, it can mean impatience and moving forward before the time is right. So maybe they are not willing to make the sacrifices necessary to see through what they need to see through. So maybe they have invested in the wrong project, maybe their rewards are not arriving, there's a lack of faith in projects, maybe there's also lack of motivation, and completion is often the consequence. So it can also speak of unemployment as well. This card reverse can mean someone who loves to study but find it hard to stay in a job. They like to learn but they don't like to do. Sometimes this card reverse can also show up when there was a payout that was meant to happen that didn't happen. And also maybe they're walking away from something they have worked at for a long time, and they're walking away from it. They're not interested in it anymore. Seven of Pentacles reversed as a personality type is someone who is impatient often, and this also can speak of having very unhealthy body image as well, and low self-worth, and lack of care in regards to health, and feeling that they're not good enough and that no one wants them. So they feel often unable to enjoy the moments because they feel that life is passing them by. So they end up giving up before they even try, and often people also walk all over them, taking the credit for their hard work, and they find work very unpleasant and often end up unemployed. So Seven of Pentacles, when it's reversed, as a person is someone who could find it hard to find stable income and find it hard to stick to a routine, and often pretend that everything's okay when really it's not. Sometimes it shows up reversed as a personality type when it's just someone who is unable to make a commitment to anything in particular. Let's ask the runes, so what is the essence of Seven of Pentacles? Most likely we'll get the upright, but sometimes it also will tell us what it means reversed as well. Okay, so I'm getting Sovelo at the bottom, and two runes fell face down, and then right at the top was Manas. So it's like Sovelo here, Manas up here. Manas is all about hierarchy of man and all kind of human inventions. Sovelo is all about success, health and vitality. But there was a big gap in between, and the two runes fell face down, were in the middle. So maybe what the seeker is uncomfortable with aiming high. So it can be a lack of ambition actually in Seven of Pentacles. Like they're aiming kind of low because that's where they're comfortable and that's where they're happy and that's where they want to be successful without aiming very high. But there's a big gap between where they're at and where they want to be. So that's where the unhappiness comes from. But they're not willing often to make the sacrifices to get to where they need to be. Often what happens in Seven of Pentacles is that they end up staying where they're at because it's comfort basically. And they do find it, the key with Seven of Pentacles is really to find happiness in the everyday moment and in the mundane. But it's almost a little bit like I get the feeling that they are compromising a little bit too much to keep things the same rather than moving forward or upwards. So there's a lack of there's a fear. I would say almost like there's a fear of ambition. It's almost like they've been blocked off from even daring to have an ambitious plan or put something ambitious in place. So that's 7 of Pentacles. The next card I'm going to do is 8 of Pentacles. Bye!